Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. We live in a world of instant global communication through our TV, internet and smartphone devices. This also provides immediate access to virtually unlimited information from around the world with just the push of a button. However, this high-tech communication system is wholly dependent on a complex, fragile and grid-tied network, which makes it extremely vulnerable to failure. It doesn't even have to be a major disaster for us to see the loss of internet or cell phone systems. This year alone, in 2019, we've seen major cell phone disruption across numerous countries on multiple occasions, and a global loss of social media service across several platforms simultaneously, albeit for just a day. So what if the grid went down for a long time, or even permanently? How would we be able to communicate? Let's find out. Being able to receive up-to-date and perhaps critical news about what's going on during a something hit the fan event will be essential for you to effectively react and to adapt as the crisis unfolds. Similarly, having a guaranteed method for direct communication to and from members of your group, and perhaps other groups, will also be essential to the survival of you and your group. The good news is that there's a range of communication options available, many of which will continue to work properly during or after a something hit the fan event. However, not everyone will already have these. So it's worth considering your communication options now, rather than trying to figure it out when the crisis hits. With that in mind, let's have a look at what will and what might not work during a something hit the fan event. Almost everybody today has a cell phone to make calls or send text messages, and most phones nowadays are also internet-enabled smartphones, which give access to virtually unlimited information and the ability to interact via text, audio and video on a variety of social media platforms. These are undoubtedly the best option for small-scale everyday emergencies, such as vehicle breakdowns or medical emergencies. You can use them to quickly summon assistance, to get advice, or to share your specific problem or location, both in words and in pictures. However, they're just about the worst option for any large-scale or widespread emergency event. Anyone who's been in a major disaster situation will have experienced the frustration of trying to make a phone call. They probably discovered that the phone network was completely overloaded and jammed, or worse, that it had been deliberately switched off by the authorities. This meant there were no outgoing calls, no incoming calls, nothing at all. Even at routine large-scale public events such as festivals, concerts or sporting events, you'll notice cell phone networks can quickly become overloaded and jammed. Small-scale local network jams are routinely caused by overuse. They're a common problem. Add to this the potential for limited network coverage in more remote areas, and the fact that the cell phone network is totally reliant on the mains utility grid to operate at all, means that cell phones are usually the worst option when something hits the fan. In any major something hit the fan event, the most effective form of communication at a distance is going to be radio. Radios come in a wide range of styles and capabilities, and for public use they come in three distinct categories: PMR, CB and ham units. Each of these has their own particular set of advantages and disadvantages. PMR, or personal mobile radios, are what most people recognise as walkie-talkies. They're cheap, effective, simple to use and highly portable, making them great for short-range something-hit-the-fan communications. They can easily be carried in a pocket, on a belt, in a bag or on the dashboard of a vehicle. They work best for small groups and they're an ideal option for a family wanting to stay in contact as they move around a small property or local area. They're not so effective for use over longer distances, so make sure that you test the range before you need them, so you understand the range limitations. Most handheld radios only have an effective range of a couple of miles, and even then, trees, hills and buildings can dramatically reduce their overall range, so just keep that in mind when you're considering your something hit the fan communication plans. CB or citizen band radios are available as handheld, vehicle mounted or static base station units. They can therefore have all the advantages of walkie-talkies, but by including vehicle mounted or base station units into your setup, their effective range can be dramatically extended. Clearly, the vehicle or base station units are more expensive than the handheld units, but they're still very affordable and don't require a license or any formal training to operate them. While vehicle and base station CB radios have a greater effective range than PMR or walkie-talkie radios, their range is still dependent on the terrain, so again, trees, hills and buildings can still dramatically reduce their overall range. And of course, they're not as portable, so just keep this in mind when considering your communication plans. A ham or amateur radio system provides both reliable and effective communication over very long distances. With the correct equipment, it can literally provide a global communication system. It's also more flexible because unlike PMR or CB radio, where the operating frequencies or channels are fixed within a small range, ham radio has the capacity to monitor almost the entire radio frequency range and can transmit over a greater number of frequency or channels. While it's undoubtedly the most capable of the different radio systems, it does have a number of drawbacks, including cost, lack of portability, and the training and licensing requirements to use it effectively. Monitoring the mainstream TV and radio news is an essential part of everyday preparedness, and it's even more important for your ongoing survival during a something hits the fan scenario. In times of national emergency, governments will try to issue emergency alert messages via TV, radio and the cell phone networks. In a major something hit the fan event, it's most likely that TV broadcast will be one of the first casualties, so I would tend to focus more on having a radio available during a crisis event rather than a TV. One of the major problems when something hits the fan is the potential for loss of mains power. So for all the equipment we've discussed so far, you will need to figure out your backup power supply system so that you can operate these for long periods of time when the main grid goes down. One of the additional benefits of radio over TV is that of portability, along with the fact that there are lots of radios available on the market which can operate on a hand crank system to provide the power for it. I'd highly recommend having at least one of these in your normal prepping supplies. Another option to consider is a radio frequency scanner. Not only can you listen into a range of commercial broadcast channels, but you can also listen into emergency service radio traffic along with the channels used by the various PMR, CB and ham radio systems that we've discussed. This capability will allow you to obtain information that could be life-saving during a something hit the fan event, even if you can't actually talk back. It's difficult to stress enough the importance of communication. The best way that I can describe it is if you were to just pause for a moment and think how much time you spend on your cell phone on a daily basis, talking to people, gathering information about the news, so on and so forth, and then try and work out how you would be able to do that if the grid went down and you couldn't use your mobile phone. That kind of tells you how important being prepared and having a backup communication system really is. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you have found something in there that was of use to you. If you did enjoy the video, then please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What's your emergency communication plan? What do you think you'll be using when something hits the fan? Let me know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.